all the way towards the very top of the deck, through every single playing card that's in that deck. Look, watch. It gets right towards the top. You can see it go. It's almost there. Boom, just like that. If I just spread, you can see one card is now between those two jacks. Alright, check this out. For this effect, we need to use two playing cards, and we'll use the two cards on top of the deck, the two black jacks. We have the Jack of Clubs and the Jack of Spades. What we'll do with these two jacks is that we'll leave them face down on top of the deck. So we have the Jack of Clubs and the Jack of Spades. Don't forget these two cards. We also need a playing card selected from the center, so let's go ahead and stop randomly here. If you were here, you could sign this card, but since you're not, we'll just remember it. You can see it's the 10 of diamonds. So watch, here's what's going to happen. We'll leave that 10 of diamonds about halfway down in the center of the deck, but we'll leave it face up, so we'll remember it when we see it again. Now you remember those two jacks from the beginning? We're going to actually take one of them and leave it about almost maybe to the very bottom of the deck. We'll leave it sticking out though, so you can see it at all times. So watch, keep your eye on that jack. You can see it's about halfway down in the center of the deck. Watch what happens as that jack begins to visually rise slowly all the way towards the very top of the deck, through every single playing card that's in that deck. Look, watch. It gets right towards the top. You can see it go. It's almost there. Boom, just like that. If I just spread, you can see one card is now between those two jacks, the Jack of Clubs, the Jack of Spades. It is in fact the selected 10 of diamonds, and the spectators can go ahead and examine these playing cards. Want to learn how to do it? Then just stick around for the rest of the video. Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. I hope life's treating you good. Let's dive into today's trick. First up though, what is happening? 30,000 subscribers. I started this channel just a couple of months ago, just around Christmas time, and we're already here. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm just a tiny little magic channel. I never thought you guys would grow it to the size that it's become. So thank you to each and every one of you. Now, on to business. If you want to win the gimmick that we build in today's video, then all you need to do, as always, is hit that subscribe button and comment anything you want down below. The funnier, the better, and I will choose a winner by next Tutorial Tuesday video and ship it to you anywhere you are in the world. Let's dive into making the gimmick. The very first thing we need to do is scan in the top edge of the deck of cards using a scanner and a computer. Don't worry if you don't have a scanner, you can also just use your phone to place the cards on the table and take a snap. Failing that, I'm also going to provide you with the very file that I use up here on the screen and down in the description below. Okay, so with the deck inside the box, I've placed it in the scanner and sort of held it in place with the lid, and now I'm going to scan it in using my computer. So now in our scanning software, we need to open it up. You can see on screen, that's our deck. I'm just going to choose to scan this, save it to a folder called False Deck Run, and simply scan in. So I hit the scan button. Boop. So you're going to open up Photoshop, create a new blank document the same size as your printer paper, and then you're going to import that image like this. And you'll notice that it may be a bit wonky, so what we're going to do is just quickly clean this up. I'm going to straighten up the line here to get it kind of right. We'll use the lasso tool real quick. Just cut away all the edges as best we can. And then what we'll do is we'll straighten it up again in just a moment. So now you can see we need to sort of maybe skew this slightly to get it looking straight. It's almost perfect. Just like that. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. Now what I do as a little tip is I stretch this out. For safety's sake, is just duplicate this a couple of times. Like so that I'm not going to waste a whole sheet of paper. And then we're going to hit print. Boom. And then we'll go and collect the printout. So there's the printout. Like I said, if you want this, you can actually just download it from the file in the top corner here or down in the description below. But now let's go and build our gimmick. First thing we need to do is just cut out one of these. Okay, so now you have this little false deck front. We're gonna stick it to the back of the jack about this far down. Okay, so I'm gonna do that using double stick tape. So with that there, I'm just going to trim off the excess on the edges. Now that you've done that, you're going to take your random card and you're going to place it over the top of your gimmick. And what we're going to do now is very simply add 4 pinholes into the bottom half of this card. So not the top half, but the bottom half. And we'll do it on the face so we can use the camouflage of the Jack of Clubs to hide the holes and eventually hide the invisible elastic thread. The link is in the description below, by the way, that we're going to thread through those holes. So we're going to make 4 simple holes in total. Remember, hold these cards square. And remember, you're doing it in the bottom half, not the top half. Square these cards together just like this. Try and keep them as square as possible. We're going to make 4 holes in the cards. So one here, here, and one around the halfway point here. Now we'll take 2 pieces of invisible elastic thread and thread 1 piece through these 2 holes and 1 piece through these 2 holes. There's the first 2 holes threaded. We're going to quickly tie 2 really simple knots in this gimmick, making sure that it's tight. Here's 1. And what we need to do is cut off the excess thread, so making sure not to cut the knot off, cut off the excess. And now we'll thread the other 2 holes as well. And again we'll tie really easy, simple knots in these. And one more time, we'll cut off the excess thread, making sure not to cut off the knot. And there you have it, super easy. There is your gimmick. Now let's go and learn how to perform this bad boy. Alright, I'm just diving in really quickly for a couple of seconds. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, you like these sort of creative magic tricks, you like this gimmick building, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I do it purely for the joy and love of magic, and it would really mean a lot to me if you do like seeing my videos that you hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. So this is how you perform the effect. We take 2 regular jacks, the spades and the clubs. They're going to be on top, and third down from the top is the gimmick. Okay, so this is the gimmick card. You'll notice that the jack of clubs for the gimmick is face down, and the thread, the invisible elastic thread, if you can see it right here, is towards my body. Okay, so it's towards me. So you're in a really nice position to start. You take the 2 black jacks and you can display them and have them examined. Then what you need to do is make sure that you position the clubs beneath the spades when they're face up. As you're doing this, you're going to get a pinky break underneath that gimmick, okay? And then take the 2 jacks, turn them face down on top of the gimmick, and then I'm going to lift this whole pack of cards up, so that's the gimmick and the 2 jacks, up and peel off the uppermost card, just single card. So there's the gimmick and 1 jack of spades here, okay? So I'll peel that off as I display the cards. As I say, remember the cards are face down on top. Then I'm going to push over the top 2 cards, which is the jack of spades and the gimmick, the jack of clubs is on top. And I'm just going to switch them around as I chat. Okay, so it's very casual looking, very open looking. At speed, that whole process just looks like this. I can display the 2 cards whilst I get a break under the gimmick. I turn them face down, strip off one card, chat for a moment, and then swap them very openly. That puts me with my Gimmick now on top of the deck, followed by the Jack of Spades, followed by the Jack of Clubs. Now we need a card selected and it can be signed, so you can just go ahead and have someone take out a card, or you can do the dribble, and they can sign that card. Whilst they're signing the card, you're going to get a pinky break beneath the Gimmick and the Jack of Spades. Okay, so it's essentially 3 cards, but that Gimmick is made up of 2 cards, okay? And then you're going to get a nice big break ready to execute the Marlowe tilt. So for those of you that don't know the Marlowe tilt, it creates this illusion that the card's going in the center. But because there's a big gap here, that depth, when you place the card towards the bottom of the gap, makes it look like the card's going into the center. Okay? And there's many, many more resources online, especially on YouTube, that will teach you this in depth. So you show their card, you say we're going to place it in the middle of the deck, but we'll do this face up. You mock placing it in the center, move some cards, and then square it all the way in, just like that. Then, some people do a lot of different moves to get rid of this break. I just simply pick the deck up and drop it. And then I can display that it looks very fair and clean that it's in the middle. Now I'm going to take the Gimmick, which is the top card. I like to get a break under it just so I can very quickly turn it over, because sometimes if you spread, it may spread and expose the Gimmick. So I take the Jack, I can display it all around, and what I'm going to do is, you'll notice the thread, okay, so the thread is here. I need to place the threaded end of the Gimmick into the card, so not the top end. So whatever you do, you can display this card, reposition, whatever you like. I'm now going to take the Gimmick, and I say, I'm going to riffle down and I'm going to place the card about 3/4 of the way down beneath your selection. And then I angle the deck towards myself as if I'm just getting a better look for myself. But in reality, what's happening is when I tilt the deck towards myself so the audience can't see what's happening, I'm just counting off 3 cards, the Jack of Spades, their selection, and the Jack of Clubs, okay? Which is just the 3 sandwich cards. So you have the selection and the 2 jacks. So I say, look, we're going to place it really deep down into the center of the deck. Actually, you know what? Definitely beneath the selection, and as you can see, I've just riffled, but they can't see that because I'm all the way over here. So then I place the Jack into the deck, about half its length in right now, so it's about halfway out. And remember, this is all towards me, so they can't actually see what I'm seeing because this is my view. And as I bring the deck up as if I'm just sort of tidying everything, I'm going to push back on this part of the Gimmick, okay? And then using my middle finger, I'm going to try and square it back all the way in, so it's square with these cards on top, and just get repositioned with the false deck out jogged like this. The important thing to remember for the illusion to work, though, is that you're going to cover this edge with your thumb and this edge with your middle finger as best as you can. This illusion doesn't work like this. You have to cover it, okay? That's what it's all about. If you don't do that, then it's not going to be convincing. So when you're in this position, then you can basically you come from here. I get everything ready and set up. I come down. I remember not to come down too slowly because they'll see it's really close to the top. I just whip it down. And now I'm squeezing with quite a lot of force here. Because if I don't, then this will happen. And it'll all square up. So we don't want that to happen, you know. So I'm just giving some pressure on the edges of the deck to make sure that everything stays coalesced. And then from here, sometimes you can use your index finger, or sometimes it'll just go in naturally on its own, depending on how you do it. But you just need to let that card then slide in. And the illusion, this optical illusion, which I'm really proud of, is created. It looks like the card is moving vertically up, but because of what I've designed, the card is actually moving backwards. So from the side view, this is what's happening. But from the front, with all the convincers in place, it looks like that card is moving up. And with just a bit of motion, it looks like it's heading towards the deck. Now you have this really nice moment here when the card is right towards the very top. They can tell it's the Jack of Clubs anyway, so they know it's there. All you need to do is push the gimmick in as you spread, like this. And now look, that gimmick, even though it's here, it's hidden. So you just spread as you square that gimmick in, and look at this position that you're in. You're now clean as a whistle. You have the real Jack of Clubs, the Five of Hearts, and the Jack of Spades right here. And you can hand these three cards to be examined by the spectator. And even better, you're completely reset to do it again. And what I like most about this trick is that it's basically self-contained in this one card. So you can keep this in your box or in your pocket. Whenever you want to perform, you can just add it to the deck and you're good to go. That's the effect, that's the basic routine. Go ahead and take that principle. I think the principle is more important than the effect here. I created this principle, I call it Muse, when I was 16 years old, and I've done a bunch of different things with it over the years. One of my favorite things to do though is this sandwich routine because it makes a lot of sense, it's super visual, and like you've seen, you're instantly reset and it's easy to carry around. I actually created the routine over 17 years ago, and I did it by placing the deck on the table with a card out jogged and just looking at it for about an hour, thinking, well, what does everyone else do wrong? Because normally you have like false decks that like slowly come down that leaves this weird shadow and it never looks real. And I figured that by creating this optical illusion where they think it's going up, but actually it's going back, and that false edge of the deck staying in one position on the card, that for me created a more like weird looking optical for the eyes. So go ahead, take that principle, have some fun with it. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, if you want to win the very gimmick that we made in today's episode, then all you need to do is hit that subscribe button and comment anything you like down below. You can even be abusive to me if that's what gives you your kicks. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I'll see you back here on Thursday for another episode of Fooler. And this episode is going to be the one that I think fools all of you just as much as it fooled me the first time that I learned it. Oh, I've said too much. All right, peace.